Hello. What's up this afternoon, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to you all. Good to see ya. ADK Mark, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Makes you cheer for you. The Cat King, Grammatical, Firebrand, Aberreal, Blazer, King of Carrot Flowers, Zelda Zach, Elf. How is everyone doing today? It's a standard day. It's been a while. I feel like we've been playing a lot of Modern, and we're still going to play a lot of Modern. We've been playing some Pioneer, some Historic, but we haven't played Standard in like weeks at this point. And they posted the Arena deck list yesterday or this morning, and there were a few interesting Standard decks. Not quite to the Memer Dream level, but interesting enough that I figured we could give him a shot. JP the Pirate Bear Snake, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. So yeah, I missed y'all. We missed Thursday because of spoilers. We missed yesterday because of spoilers. So what if we missed? What have we missed over the last couple of streams? Lusville Jeans, how are you today? Welcome back to the Fishbowl. Hope you are doing well. Have you ever considered making a commander deck out of all flip cards? Ooh, I have not, but that's actually they do have sideboards, but that's a sweet idea. I might have to try that. Maybe we'll wait another set or two for MDFCs and then do flip card tribal. That would be pretty interesting. So what's happened in the last few days since we've streamed? We've gotten a ton of Time Spiral Remastered spoilers. How are y'all feeling about this set, honestly? I think that's the biggest news is Time Spiral Remastered. How are you hyped for this set? I have very mixed feelings. So on one hand, I'm super hyped for the old border cards. Like, the old border cards, I feel like they're nailing it. I feel like I really love them. So I am in love with the set because of the old border cards. Like, that is really doing it for me. On the other hand, if you just look at, like, the mythics and the rares in the set, meh, I don't know. Not like insane or high value. Like, Damnation's nice, and we should get some more, hopefully, like Sliver Legions and Vesuvas and stuff as we go along, because those are in the block, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So I guess the question is, will you pay $200 for a box of this? Because the way I think this is going to work, like, looking at this set, I think what's going to happen is the main set cards are going to be, like, not very expensive for the most part. The old border cards are going to be somewhat expensive, and foil old border cards are going to be absurdly expensive. That is, I think what's going to happen. BG Stelz, oh, how are you today? Not a sub, but close enough. Welcome you anyway. Alex Mateo for the 21st month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. So I'm definitely hyped for it. And like Old Border Vandalblast for Commander, Teamer Battle Rage to Jake people out with Kill Feed, Exquisite Firecraft, I guess kinda sees play, Past in Flame, Storm Staple, a Tally for Commander, Bedlam Reveler. The Old Border cards just look spectacular. So I'm super hyped for that aspect of the set. So that's one thing. Number two is, what else has went down? Oh yeah, Universes Beyond announcement. We talked a bit about it on YouTube. We talked a bit about it on the podcast. I've been waiting for the stream to come back specifically to hear y'all's thoughts on that. But let's wait till we get into a game, because I feel like everyone's going to have opinions. And I really want to hear what everyone has to say about Lord of the Rings and Warhammer 40k, and who knows, a can of Pepsi perhaps coming to Magic in the near future. So I kind of want to hear what everyone has to say. I think that's been most of the big news while we're gone. Oh, that and Tron jokes. The Tron gate. Tron joke gate. Oh man, that cracked me up so much. Domes, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. I made it to Mythic for the first time with your Helverless. Awesome, Chunky Bananas. Yeah, Mono White is pretty good. But anyway, we can talk about all that stuff. Time Spiral Remastered, Tron Gate. We can talk about Universes Beyond. We can talk about what we did with our weekends. I don't care once we get going. But let's do our reminders real quick. Lord Master God, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. And McIntyre, welcome you as well. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. So let's do our reminders. Talk about our decks for the day. Start playing Magic. Then we'd have a little talk about stuff. Full price Clerics Wed. Ooh, I want to do more Clerics in Modern. It is on my list. There's still, even though we're playing Standard for the stream today, part of the reason we're playing Standard for the stream today is there's a lot of Modern coming up. I've been loving Modern lately. There's a bunch of Modern budget decks. Tomorrow's Against the Odds is Modern. Modern. So we have a ton of Modern on the way in the near future. Elf handing out gift sub to weekly winners. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is it tattoo? Interesting. Is it just like is it symbol? That sounds sweet. I like it. I mean, that seems like a pretty safe tattoo. 90% of the modern clerics deck is legal and historic, so kind of want to do that. Yeah, I think you definitely could. My foot, wow, we are getting so many subs in a row. The hype train is rolling. My foot, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Biggest fear is that we as worlds, we have their own problematic history. We saw this with Walking Dead and Tolkien, now famously super racist. I feel MTG hasn't handled its own racism problem, just feels bad. Add more, same old homo, transphobia, and misogyny. Okay. I could, yeah. I mean, I guess that is a concern. I don't really, so I come from a weird place, and I mentioned this on the podcast, where I don't really come from nerd culture. So I honestly, I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies. I think they're tedious. Krim was talking about Spider-Man. I think I've seen, like, the upside down kissing scene probably somewhere, but not, like, I don't think I've ever watched a Spider-Man movie. So I don't actually, like, know a lot of that stuff just because I don't actually I don't really have much of a connection to a lot of those properties. So I personally don't know much about that, but I think that is a good point that I had not really considered, just because I don't really know much about Krim is all about the hot takes. Anyway, all right, let's do reminders, and we talk about this once we start playing Magic. Replay YouTube, that's where you can find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube, yesterday, Budget Magic, Clericing and Modern. Probably play some more Clerics in the future. So yeah, Clerics and Modern on Budget Magic. Tomorrow, watch the Against the Odds. Watch the Against the Odds. Please, 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 please. It's a good one. It's something I've been talking about on Twitter that I don't know why people haven't. Narfi was the winning card. So Narfi won the poll, and I was like, all right, let's play Let's play some Snow decks in Modern, and I think Snow in Modern is really sweet. So Snow take one against odds tomorrow with Narfi. So check that out. Your hatred of fantasy and larger nerd culture in general well known, even though MTG is quite literal fantasy incarnate in game form. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't hate fantasy or nerd culture. That's not how I wasn't raised in fantasy or nerd culture. I've talked about it before that I grew up in like a very religious, super like kind of conservative, sheltered family. So we didn't have like TV. My parents definitely wouldn't let me read comic books for sure. So a lot of the like, I don't know, the nerd culture stuff of growing up, I just never experienced. So it's not that I hate that stuff. It's just like, I don't know, I guess I had a unique upbringing compared to a lot of people. So yeah. I mean, I definitely consider myself a nerd, but the stuff I know a lot about is not typical nerd culture stuff. It's like music and stuff like that, which is interesting. I'm doing well, Proxy. How are you? Our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. And if you need some magical cards, you can get them from cardkingdom.com. Even get a free Scoop Soldier sticker. They got Time Spiral Remastered up for pre-sale now. You can see all these sweet old border cards already showing up. So thank you to Card Kingdom for supporting the show. Otherwise, merch page, tokens, t-shirts, playback, getaway to support the stream and the channel and the site. Donations always appreciated. Never required. $2 or more. Get your message read on stream. How did I find out about Magic? I actually didn't start playing Magic until college. So I didn't play Magic growing up either. And for me, I mentioned this a little bit before, but for me, Magic, when I first started playing it, it reminded me of two things. It reminded me of strategy games that I played growing up. Because for some reason, even though I didn't get to do a lot of stuff growing up, board games were kind of like always fine with my parents. So board games were fine. So I played like Risk and Allies and Axis. Oh, what is the World War II one? Why can't I think of the name of it right now? But I played a lot of strategy games growing up. Axis and Allies is what I was looking for. But I played a lot of like strategy games growing up when I was a kid. So it reminded me of strategy games that I played growing up. And it also reminded me of poker, which I got into as I got older. So Magic for me was like strategy gaming and poker combined. So it wasn't, I know for some people it's like, oh, the art drew me in, or like my connection to fantasy drew me in. But for me, those were the things that initially drew me to Magic. We're like, wow, this is a really in-depth strategy game. And it also has some like poker influences where you can do a lot of the same stuff you do in poker with bluffing and the stats and so forth. So that's what initially drew me into Magic once I discovered it. We got a bunch more gift subs from Jordana going to Bubble Beeble and Okiwan Kenobi and Niche and 52224 and Bloody Doves and a sub from Belladit. Howdy Seth. I'd say my issue is weakening the brand. This and other decisions the last 2 years. Feels like getting money now and not worried about long-term healthy lasting game, but I'm a pessimist. Well, welcome to the Fishbowl and thank you for your thoughts. Big super cheer for you. All right. All right. Let's, the hype train is still going. Level 2 hype train. Could you check my sub message real quick when you get a chance? Subbed during the reminders in the sub rush. Ooh, did I miss your sub message? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, my still going. Somebody subs. Rocking Grolderd. Welcome to the Fishbowl. And Potato David. Big soup cheer for you. Hey Seth, always wonder if you had any analog collection other than your Magic cards. DVDs, CDs, vinyls. Did you ever find a frame for your sheet of cards? Ooh, so I do. I am working on a bit of a vinyl collection. I do collect vinyl. I don't buy just all the music I like in vinyl, but I try to buy things that I especially like in vinyl. So yeah, I collect vinyl a bit. That's I guess that's the main collection I have outside of MTG. More gift subs. Good lord, we're never going to play Magic. We're just going to do gift subs from Anaburget to Crowd MTG, Zazzy, Seismic Lawn, Cyperdog, and Blackhawk. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Oh, 12K in vinyl. Yeah, I don't have that much at this point, but yeah, I'm still working on it. So all right, Old Border Alicia looks sweet. I think black cards look best in the Old Border, actually, but the red cards look really good, too. I think white cards look worst. White cards just, I don't know, the Old Border white cards are kind of meh, but... Alright, so here's our decks for tonight. We are starting with Toski Mutate. And this deck caught my eye for 2 reasons. One is, I like Mutate decks, but this was a little different. It's not a Scute Swarm deck. Instead, we are trying to mutate onto everyone's favorite legendary squirrel, Toski, because it's indestructible. We're trying to mutate onto Core Blade Master, because it has double strike. So we are a Mutate deck, but a very different take. And one of the things that's cute about mutating onto Toski is only the top creature's name counts. So if we play a Toski and mutate on it, we can play another Toski and stack up his combat damage trigger, its combat damage trigger effect multiple times. So deck 1, Toski Mutate, Bant Toski Mutate. The other decks on the list for today is backups, and these are all lists from the Arena Dub. Mono Blue Devotion, a classic that we haven't played in a while. I think Mono Blue Devotion, when it goes off, is one of my favorite decks to play in all of Standard. However, we got some big new additions. We have Kasima now, which seems really sweet, is more card advantage. We have some Elrond action, some more card advantage. So, Mono Blue, Devotion, big mana with Nykthos, churning through the deck, Thassa's Oracle with even more card draw thanks to Kaldheim. So that is also on the list. Neva, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Last but not least, also, man, so many subs. Armfingle 3K. I'm missing them. There's so many. Thank you so much, everyone. Big super cheer for you as well. The last deck on the list is, this deck was one that someone only had to rest in the sideboard. So I added a realistic sideboard. But this is, I guess, Absian Turgrid Enchantress. Little concerned about the curve. We have 2 Dream Devours and everything else is 3 or 4 mana, which a little bit risky curve-wise. But it's got Turgrid, it's got sacrifice effects, it's got skull raids. We're actually skull raiding. So we have discard effects. So that is also on the backup list. But we're gonna start with some Toski Mutate, I think. So green screen is a bit low, is it? Wait, what do you mean a bit low? Oh, like, all right. Hopefully we're good. All right, so deck number 1, Toski Mutate. essentially mutating on Toski. Toski and Core Blade Master are two big mutate targets. Coma, also good if we can get to it, so we're mutating onto it. Things like Gem Razor, things like Migratory Greatheart, Auspicious Derek's, Powsley Shore Shark, Cub Warden, that's a new one that we haven't really played because this is a Bant deck. Sideboard-wise, more protection, Rogue hate, Graveyard hate, Majestic Oracord for aggro, another Coma for control, so let's mutate on a Toski and see what happens. Is there a place to submit deck lists for this stream, or do you just use Arena Dunks? Yes! Email them to me. saffron@mtggoldfish.com is the best way to send me a deck. Or get 6 wins in a row out of Rita, and I will also notice it that way. I have unspent Mastery Orbs. Oh no. The thing is, what do you think of the card styles on Arena? Here's what I wish Arena would do. Swing for 0. Hey, who? Where have you been the last few streams? Missed you. I missed you too. It was spoiler season. Spoiler season always eats into streaming. And Tijuana Joe, welcome you as well. Big super cheer. Thank you. Yeah, spoiler season. Just some days. Thursday was not only spoiler season, but it was. Oh, I can see what you're saying about the green screen now. That's weird because it looks better. Oh, I can kind of see it. All right, let me see if I can fix the green screen real quick. Green screens are so finicky. All right, let's move this over here. Hello again. This is our new stream mode. Oh, invisible. Like, this is actually how you green screen. You just kind of, hey, maybe, close enough. That might be good. All right, I'm back. Susception. Yeah, I'll keep Grey Horde. Might as well do some Ravik. Pass the turn. We got there. It took a little fiddling. So, what do y'all think about Universes Beyond? That is the thing I really want to get everyone's opinion on. So, Universes Beyond. I'm sure you've heard about it. Everyone's been talking about it. The crossover product line starting next year. Warhammer 40k, Lord of the Rings are the first two they mentioned, but I assume there's going to be many more to come. If they had silver white borders, I'd be fine with it. Yeah. I think the problem, Wizards is, Mark Rosewater has been pretty clear that the issue with that is if they're not in black border, people don't treat them as real cards, which I always thought was a slightly funny argument because silver border cards are, like, by definition not real cards because you can't play them in tournaments. So I'm not sure why anyone would treat them as real cards, quote unquote. It just seems like, it seems obvious because that's the whole rules around silver border. What's over under on an official BoJack Horseman product? I can't see it. I really can't imagine it. So far, they've mentioned Lord of the Rings, which I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I've talked about that. I don't have any connection to it. I find the movies really boring and long, but it is kind of like classic fantasy. Like, it is classic fantasy. So I think it's an obvious connection to Magic. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, you can easily... Really? I figured that everyone who watched Lord of the Rings came away feeling like they were tedious. I honestly didn't realize that was an unpopular opinion. I really didn't. I thought everyone who heard that opinion would be like, oh yeah, I felt the same way, right on. But apparently it is not. Apparently it is not the most popular of opinions. But I guess they're Gentle Lad. I mean, it's not that they're, like, bad. They're just, like, I felt like they were way longer than they should be. But I can see how that would easily transfer to Magic. You have, like, even a lot of the same creature types. You could say that Lord of the Rings probably inspired Magic to some extent. So that makes a lot of sense. What about War? Oh my goodness, this is going so horribly. We're just getting absolutely picked apart. So we can play this, bounce this. This goes away. They have to sack Glass Casket. But then we're going to lose 2 creatures for nothing. Ugh. Jeez. Oh, this is so painful. Mutate. I'm not sure this is right. Bounce the Visionary. 2 for 1 ourselves. I wonder if this deck needs more early game things to mutate onto. That might be helpful. Oh, that did not go to plan at all. I don't know why I was thinking they were gonna have to sack the Glass Casket, but the Binding of the Old Gods is still around. Oh yeah, that was definitely not the ideal way to play that. For some reason I'd convinced myself that if we did that, they'd have to sack Glass Casket, we would get back Tingle Floral Hedron. Yes, this looks super over. Alright, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at the same time, super removal heavy decks are kind of the natural enemy. We didn't find a Toski. Not that it would even matter. Ugh. Jeez. Yes, is. Oh, this is not the start we were hoping for. Talk about your favorite music genre. Choose a foundation band for that genre, then have people call that band tedious and boring. You'd probably disagree. I mean, disagreeing is fine. I guess I would disagree if I felt that way. But at the same time, like, I don't know. People disagreeing is not a bad thing, in my opinion. Like, I've actually had that experience with music a lot of times because, like, for example, I always try to sell people on Captain Beefheart, specifically Troutmask Replica, because the rest of Captain Beefheart, not as good. But I try to make people listen to Troutmask Replica, and I am close to 0% for people actually coming around to liking Captain Beefheart as a result of my recommendation. So I definitely think that Captain Beefheart is a foundational, like, whatever, proto-punk band. But many people disagree with that when I try to convince them of such. What do we do here? Play Blade Master. Temple of Plenty, Scry, Forest Bottom, Tangle Ya for 1. Oh, Jake Jesus, the infinite mill deck. Someday, I'm sure we will probably try infinite milling. Universe of Beyond is the worst idea since Viking helmets with hordes on the inside. Okay, all right. I guess that would be the definition of a bad idea. Oh, we gotta play this on Blue. I don't know. So on Universes Beyond, my feeling is, oh yeah, and that's the good Tom Waits music. Like, Tom Waits came to appreciate Captain Beefheart and then started making the best Tom Waits music. Like, that right there is a selling point, I think. Just be warned that a lot of Captain Beefheart music, I think, is not that great. Troutmask Replica in specific is what I would consider essential Captain Beefheart. But after that, a little bit like Zappa. Like, there's really good Zappa music, but then there's some that's just like, I don't know. Like, the lyrics are so immature that it makes it hard for me to appreciate the music. Llanowar Visionary. We have a new donation. I was actually surprised that Crib said Spider-Man was overrated. I would have I would have pegged Krim as a Spider-Man fan, personally. But apparently, he's not. He likes the villains, though. We have a new donation from Lucid. Hey, Seth, my girlfriend loves Daniel Johnson as well and has a tattoo. She commends your music taste. Ooh, wow, that's impressive. Well, I commend her music taste. You do not meet too many people who are Daniel Johnson fans. Daniel Johnson's pretty far below the radar, but wait, a Daniel Johnson tattoo? What would you get? What would you get of a Daniel Johnson tattoo? Hi, how are you? That would be my first guess of a Daniel Johnson tattoo. Thank you so much. Seth's take is exactly how I feel about steam-powered giraffe, immature lyrics ruining genuinely good music. Yeah, there's bands. Sometimes bands do that. I mean, I guess it's also kind of funny because I'm also a big Ween fan, and for some reason, some of Ween's early stuff is like that for me, but Ween has a lot of goofy, arguably immature music lyrics, but for some reason Ween's lyrics don't hit me the same way as some of like Zappa's stuff or like some of Captain Beefheart's stuff. Like, please don't eat the yellow snow. Come on, like, Zappa. We know you're a genius. We know you're like, you're an amazing musician. Why? Why would you write a song called Please Don't Eat the Yellow Snow? Like, no matter how amazing your music is, if I just hear that song title, it's not gonna make me think, wow, what a work of art. It's gonna make me think, what is he talking about? Like, seriously. I feel like, so Universes Beyond, which definitely needs, hey, what's up, Beps? How are you? Which definitely needs a better acronym than UB, because whenever I hear that, I think of a blue-black deck, like a Dimir deck. Alright, Blade Master, smack ya a bit, pass the turn, opponent gets a forest. So, as far as Universes Beyond, if I got to design Magic however I wanted Magic to be, would it have Universes Beyond in it? Probably not. On the other hand, one thing I've come to learn is what I personally want out of Magic is not necessarily the best thing for Magic, the game as a whole. Huh! And we were talking down at the core Blade Masters. Maybe Blade Master is like actually insane. That was just Blade Master winning that game all by itself. So that's something I've come to realize is like, just because my ideal version of Magic is one way, that doesn't mean that's the right direction for the entire game. So I really am hopeful that Universes Beyond will bring in new players. So, and for me, it's also not a deal breaker. Like, and I definitely get the perspective of people who are primarily invested in the flavor of Magic. Like, if the flavor of Magic is your number one thing, and part of what makes Magic great is that can be your number one thing. Some people are tournament players, couldn't care less about flavor. Some people, like the game. Some people like to gamble by opening booster packs. Some people care primarily about the flavor. If you're somebody who cares primarily about the flavor and other IPs in the game makes that worse for you, like, I understand that perspective, and I think that's a legitimate perspective, and I think that's a legitimate concern. Like, I do think that Universes Beyond probably will make the game less fun for a certain subsegment of people. I hope that it's not a deal breaker for them, and I hope it's something that we still have all the Magic sets. This is kind of a bonus supplemental set. Hopefully this isn't something that's going to, like, ruin the game for them. But I think that is a legitimate perspective. On the other hand, I also think it can bring in new players, and I think that's a good thing. Hobbits or Kithkin? Embarrassingly, I honestly did not realize they were the same thing until the podcast yesterday when Richard brought it up. I didn't realize. I didn't know that Kithkin were magic hobbits. I thought they were just small. I didn't know they were actually referencing hobbits. We have a new donation from Carlos J. Was thinking that multiplayer would never come to Arena because it will compete with paper sales with all the cards designed for Commander and Standard products. What do you think? Well, Carlos J., thank you for the donation. And I think that is probably a secondary concern, but I think the reason that it won't come to Arena is Arena's just not designed for it. Like, for me, that's the reason it won't come to Arena, is that Arena is just not designed with multiplayer in mind. And now they're going more and more into mobile, and now they're going more and more into mobile, and that's going to make it even harder to have 4 gameplays going on, 4 battlefields happening. So I think it's not going to happen, but I don't know if it's really specifically for, like, to protect paper finance prices as much as Wizards just didn't design Arena to have Commander on it. I do think there will be more digital Commander stuff, though. Wizards even hinted at it before. This was back before, who was the head designer? I want to say Chris Cox, but I think that's CEO. But the head designer of Arena, before they left, kind of hinted at the possibility of having another game that was Commander focused. Like, if they did do it, Chris Clay, yes, Chris Clay. But they kind of hinted at that before leaving, that Commander was unlikely to ever come to Arena, but having something where you could play Commander online was a definite possibility. Well, Yamori on creature. I'm a little worried to run out Toski because I feel we're just going to get wrecked by Doom Foretold. I guess we're probably going to get wrecked by Doom Foretold regardless. Alright, Heartless Act. Well, I guess we should have Toski'd. That probably... That probably does mean they don't have Doom Foretold, though. Oh. Well. Toski time. Oh, if they're slow rolling your Doom Foretold, why? They would have played it, I think. Like, why kill it if you could just play Doom Foretold and kill it for free with the Golden Egg out? About it. Oh, come on now, opponent. Oh, come on now. So they were slow rolling the Doom Foretold? Oh, I can't believe they were slow rolling Doom Foretold. Oh, yeah. Well, run out of Shore Shark. Sack it. More Fabled Passages. Hit ya. Opponent. Takes 1. We draw even more lands. Oh, that slow roll. About it. I mean, I don't think we win if we just take off several turns against Doom Foretold. That seems... That's what they want you to do. If you just take 2 turns off and let your opponent draw cards, that's... I don't feel like that's a line that's going to lead to us winning the game. I mean, we're also drawing cards with Toski. Alright. Well, we've drawn every land. Opponent. Going to sacrifice. We get back a Blade Master for the moment. Opponent. Golden Egg. Gem Razor is mutate. But it's tough to mutate without creatures. That's kind of the issue. Binding of the Old Gods. So now our opponent gets to, what, 7 for 1 us or something? Something very bad happens. Opponent hits us. Well, I mean, if there's good news, it's that we did draw infinite land, so we have stuff to discard. Still drawing infinite lands. Well, Pathway. Great Horn. Gem Razor. Over. Blow up Binding. Ooh, they could easily just have another Doom Foretold. We've gotten every basic out of our deck. Ugh. Yeah, Doom Foretold kind of specifically punishes this playstyle. I would imagine the Doom Foretold is probably just straight up about the worst matchup our deck can play. All right, yeah. Well, that did not go especially well. I mean, there's nothing to play towards there. One thing I realized is since they reset the ranks on Arena. So drop back down to gold, and apparently gold players are all about Yarion and control decks. I don't know why. Has anyone else noticed that it's there's like just infinite Yarion decks, which is weird because they did the MPL stuff over the weekend, and at the like higher levels, the tournament's a lot of like aggro decks and adventure decks. Like that's kind of like the top tier of the meta. Rogues, adventures, mono white aggro, mono red aggro, sacrifice a little bit. Those are kind of like the actual pillars of the format. But once you get knocked, But once you get knocked down to gold with the reset, it is just control and Yorion 100% of the time. Ooh, let me see Holith. Ugh, yeah, this is bad. Bad. Opponent in the tank. Well, going to 5. Sure. Bottom and bottom. Oh, well, go Blade Master. I'll play this on white. Go. About it. So let's say, we know we're getting the Universes Beyond. What are some other properties, whether you actually like the idea of it or not, like, what else do you think would make for potential crossovers? So, like, to me, Lord of the Rings makes sense because of the fantasy element. Warhammer kind of makes sense as well, because Warhammer, I feel like there's crossover within the communities, essentially. Like, maybe it's just because Vince plays Warhammer and Magic, but I imagine some Magic players play Warhammer, some Warhammer players might play Magic, so that made some amount of sense to me. Some people kept mentioning like BoJack, because people know I like BoJack, but I don't know if I could really see BoJack being Magic cards. Like, to me, that just feels very weird. Even though I like BoJack, like, it's hard for me to see how could you make a BoJack Magic set? I'm not really sure how you could. Rick and Morty, I can see it more than BoJack, because at least you got the sci-fi. Like, Seinfeld would be another one. How do you make a Seinfeld Magic set? Like, I don't know. Is Jerry Seinfeld a Magic character? What would Jerry Seinfeld actually do? Ninja Turtle, I could see like Ninja Turtle Commander decks or something. I mean, Game of Thrones seems like the type of crossover that would make sense. Whether or not Game of Thrones would allow wizards to do that. I don't really know. But I could see, like, Game of Thrones, there's swords and whatnot, characters with swords. I could see that being a crossover that would make some amount of sense. The funny thing is, when the Walking Dead thing came out, were people joking about, like, a Pickle Rick card? and now we might actually be getting into the world of Pickle Rick cards. I've been playing 5-color elementals in Modern ever since you made a video about it. I've had really good results to the deck, a bit different now than in the past. Wait, wow, it's jumping all over. Where's the end of that sentence? Have you ever considered giving it another go? Yeah, I think that's a deck that I would consider playing again for sure. Well, let's keep mutating, I guess. Mutate. I mean, we do have a life-linking, double striking, mutating Cub Warden, which is actually kind of sweet. South Park? That's another one. I guess all the animated shows that I like, I have a hard time imagining how they would actually work as Magic cards. So I guess I'm kind of hoping, even though I really like animated shows, those are some of my favorite shows, I guess I'm kind of oddly, weirdly hoping we don't get, like, BoJack Magic sets, just because it feels so far removed from the Magic multiverse to me. Or Bob's Burgers. I like Bob's Burgers a lot. Like, but it feels so far removed that feels weird to me. Lord of the Rings, even though I don't like it that much, that doesn't feel weird to me in Magic. It's got elves and got, you know, Kithkin or hobbits or whatever. There's a lot of, like, overlap there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have turtles in Magic. So I could see that. Another thing I'm wondering about. So, okay. People mentioned... I'm not really familiar with Witcher. I've heard of it, but I've never watched it. So here's another question for you about Universes Beyond. So let's say we know they're doing Lord of the Rings. Do you expect when they do Lord of the Rings, will they make the hobbits Kithkin so they are more playable in Magic? Or will they make the hobbits, which would mean obviously your, you know, Kithkin commander deck or whatever wouldn't be able to play them. Can we win here? Maybe. Mutate over. Cub Warden, sweet. Go attacking. Is this lethal? I think it at least makes our opponent double. Oh, alright. So opponent goes to 4. Well, let's see if they can combo off, I guess. They have this Runeforge champion, which would let them play runes for free. Well, maybe they just combo us. We shall see. Really? That's the plan. Okay. I assume they had to play Runeforge champion, but not on the lifelinker. Okay. Many strange choices. Temple of Plenty. Well, definitely keeping Shore Shark. I mean, we might still just be losing here. We can't really attack, and our opponent is kind of going off. Could be dead, could be dead. Blade Master, I guess the idea is it gives you a double striker to mutate on. Errata all Kithkin to be hobbits. Ugh. I feel like that would be the worst outcome, right? Because Kithkin are a thing in Magic. Would we actually... So that, to me, would be taking the game too far towards the crossover level. Personally. Because then you're, like, changing 27 years of Magic to make the Lord of the Rings set better. So I hope that's not the direction they go. My preferred outcome would be to have the Hobbits be Kithkin, because then they work better in the Magic universe. Like, I feel like that would be the best outcome for Magic. Well, alright, Shore Shark. But they have this Elcid, so it's not going to work. Wow, we're going to lose this. Wow, it felt like we were in such good shape, too. Opponent, protection. Last land out of the deck. Ooh, pass the turn. Would have worked if you had mutated under. Why would it have worked if you mutated under? Opponent. Oh, I see what you're saying. Alright, well. Keep mutating. Bounce. Cetizen Champion. Can we win right now? Alright. Opponent decided for us. So we got there. Lovecraft would be sweet. I mean, how Lovecraftian is Innistrad? Like, how different would it be? Huh. So one thing I would say is it seems like the idea of this deck is to even have the sideboard be safe for Yumori. Not sure if that's worth it. Yumori's a companion where my experience has been you can build your main deck to be good for it, but your sideboard, a lot of times you got to give up the Yumori. But in this case, our sideboard is Yumori friendly too. Sherlock Holmes, Hearthstone crossover, Castlevania. What about like, what about other games? Mario. I mean, I guess like something like Zelda would make sense, or Final Fantasy maybe. So something in that realm I could see being pretty good. Oh, Monopoly. Fortnite. I mean, if you look at the Hasbro website, you could see the different Monopoly versions. I would assume if someone would let their IP be used for Monopoly, there's probably a decent chance they would also let it be used for Magic. And I'm pretty sure Fortnite is one of those. So I think a Fortnite crossover is probably not completely impossible. Boat it, passing. Well, Temple of Plenty, Scry. Cupboard was sweet that game. Ooh, Blade Master. Alright, we'll keep Blade Master. New attacks. Mortal Kombat. That'd be interesting. You'd see MTG in Fortnite and not vice versa. That's something else I was wondering is why doesn't Magic get crossovers? Like, why don't we see Jace showing up in someone else's game? I'm guessing it's just, I don't know. That's something I've really kind of struggled with is like, why hasn't Magic been able to like break out into the mainstream consciousness in the way that something like Pokemon has? Because Pokemon, to me, like game wise, Pokemon, I mean, I'm a Magic player, but it's kind of like worse Magic. As far as the actual game, I guess it's like the TV shows and the marketing, but Magic has never really been able to get there in the mainstream. Like it gets there. I mean, it does well with its fan base, but it's never really become a mainstream thing. I wonder if that could change with all this. Ugh. Yeah, let's go Max Lands. Great Horn. I always kind of wonder too if this deck should just always have 4 Sterixes. Because we turn card names from alpha into verbs and don't explain. Yeah? I mean, I guess there is a high barrier of entry. Get a forest. Get a island. Kenji's playing Pokemon? Interesting. I didn't know Kenji was a Pokemon player. I mean, from what we've heard about the little bits that have kind of dripped out about the Netflix show, it sounds like it's about Chandra. we've heard that much. Beyond that, not really sure. My guess is it would be like real people and not an animated show, but Rune of Sustenance. Gonna need some Shore Sharks. Draws a card. Opponent's deck kind of feels like our deck, but it gets to draw cards. And our deck feels like our deck, but without drawing cards. Well, keep on mutating. We are going to get, like, every land out of our deck, which I guess is something. Yeah, literally every land out of our deck. Get Yumori, play the lad, pass the turn, and do nothing. Where's our Toski? The problem is we don't have Toski. Toski's our card advantage engine, but we're very not good at drawing Toski. Toski's supposed to be the secret. Oh, really? It is animated. Really? Huh. I didn't know that. Oh, man. Do you think they could actually... Okay. Has there ever been a good film about a game? Like, ever? Because all I know about films about games is they usually end up being mocked, like Street Fighter or whatever, as being super horrible. Tomb Raider. Oh, not Super. I don't think Super Mario Brothers counts. Okay, Tomb Raider's a pretty good one. I think that would be one I would actually say is probably decent. Well, this isn't looking great. Thankfully, our opponent is giving away their Runeforge champion. I guess we didn't need to block with both of these, did we? It doesn't really matter. We're only going to lose one. The movie for Clue? I guess that is a game, technically, so that would count. Down to 13, opponent Pat. Oh, now we draw Sterix. Well, mutate it. Over. Oh, Sterix would have been sweet earlier. Wow, we're gonna. Oh. Hitting the second Sterix is the worst. Yeah, hitting the second Sterix is the absolute last thing we want to hit. If we don't attack, we're gonna die. But then they can block with the Cub Warden. Huh. Maybe there's a reason Mutate is not at the top of standard. Can a mutated? We don't control the Cub Warden. You can't mutate on your opponent's creatures. That would make Mutate very interesting if you could mutate on your opponent's stuff to like shrink them. Have like a 1/1 mutator and mutate onto an Emrakul or something. Opponent sacks it. Pass the turn. Really? You can mutate onto things your opponents control? No. I still don't think I believe that. There's no way. There's no way. You know what? If we get another situation, I'm going to try it because I have never seen anyone do that and never heard about that before. But if you read the card, it does say the little pop-up text. Put it over under target non-human creature you own. So maybe that actually is true. What would I mean, it wouldn't have been a good idea anyway, but yeah, I think a Crow in War. Why is our deck so bad at drawing cards? I think we need Toski. I think it really is all about Toski. And if we don't draw Toski, our life is very sad and bad. Can you explain why Type 7 Remaster is going for over $200 a box? So from what I've heard, Time Spy Remastered going to be pretty limited in supply. You know what? We're going to keep this. We got a Toski. That's enough for us. Guess we don't have the mana for that, do we? Alright, Selfless Savior, go. Finally found a Toski. So what I think is happening is it sounds like Time Spy Remastered is going to be pretty low supply. Similar to a Master set is what people have been saying. It's going to be roughly Master set supply. Also, well, get in hit you. Down to 19. Also, the old border cards actually really do. I mean, it's a remastered set. I was hoping it was going to be kind of like Modern Horizons level supply, but it seems like it actually is going to be traditional Master set supply. That's what I was trying to say. Holoblade. Opponent. Thinking. Passing. Oh, Pathway on blue. Yay, Mori. Pass the turn. Hope next turn is Toski time. We'll see. Opponent. So I think that's kind of the sticking point. Low supply, high demand for the old border cards. I work at LGS, costs us for Temp Star Remastered costs around 125. So with 40-50% margin, 200 is about right. Yeah, I mean that does sound about like the math. I think people, the community doesn't always realize. Ooh, well, we gotta go Stompy. I mean, we're gonna see the power of Blade Master. This is where Blade Master actually looks like an insane card. Because we get to mutate on the Blade Master. Now we have a 4/4 double strike reach trampler. And we blow up the rune just for value. And what does our opponent do about this? How do you stop the Gem Raiser? I guess the answer is with my face. Opponent down to 11. All right. We're seeing the good of the deck. Hey, what's up, Adari? How are you? Good to see you. The other thing, I don't know if you saw this. Apparently, oh man, we're gonna draw a bunch of cards. We can Toski, double strike, 2 combat damages, draw 2 cards. Okay, I think the problem was we were missing Toski. Like, I think that was the whole problem. Toski comes down, squirrel time, land, scry, bottom, combat, attack you, opponent, takes 4, Toski card, yes, takes 4 more, Toski card number 2, yeah, pass the turn. Alright, so opponent needs to, like, combo off, essentially. They need another cost reducer, and then they need to combo off, and they might have a chance. Otherwise, oh, well, okay. So they do have the combo. We'll see how many runes they have. 1. Oh my goodness. If they actually chain together enough runes to beat us, I'm gonna be not happy. Opponent, Herberto, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Grows the Hollow Blade. And rune. Opponent. Alright, finally ran out of fun. Well, Toski gonna prove its worth. Mutate on Toski. Oh, the unholy alliance of squirrels and King Kong Godzilla characters. Over. We will blow up your I guess all that glitters. Selfless Savior. An opponent scoops it up. All right, that was good. That was real good. The Squirrel Beast comes through. Okay, that was sweet. We got to see the sweet aspect of the deck. So I know you've already read the Strixhaven leaks. One in particular, I hope aren't a real card. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if those leaks are real or not. So there's some, if they are real, I definitely hope are not real cards. But hopefully they just are not real cards, and then we're good. Yeah, because a couple of them, if the leaks were real, would be. They seem very broken. All right, that was not bad. Not bad. All right, let's Toski again. So the secret is we got to draw Toski, apparently. I mean, they were just like text leaks, so who knows if they were even real. But yeah, the power level would be the concern if they did happen to be real. What are your thoughts about Abzan Mutate? Do you think it's worth it to try to add Nethroi? Yeah, I mean, I would say I would probably play a Nethroi and Abzan Mutate. I don't think I would play 4 of them most likely, but I think one of them would be good. Hey, thank you, DJam. Hopefully all is well with you. Can we do a leak roundup? Ugh. We talked about it like a couple of weeks ago. This was a couple of weeks ago when they were like leaked. And I'm still not sure they're real. Like, especially when it comes to leaks that don't have any images. Anyone could make up some card names and abilities and be like, "Hey, this is a leak." So you got to take those type of leaks with a grain of salt. I do think if we keep getting Praetors, they probably are going to be very pushed. Because Vorinclex is very pushed, and Praetors are, I guess at this point, kind of iconic characters. So I would not be surprised if the rest of the Praetors are pretty pushed. Hey, thank you, B-Jam. Welcome. Good to see you. Ooh, Zealous Conscripts. I mean, you gotta have a... Oh, that allows you to live the dream. That allows you to live the combo dream in limited. Now you can. Oh man, that is my new goal for Time Star Remastered Limited. Somehow get the 1 in 21 Zealous Conscripts, and then in one of my other packs get the 1 in 21 Kiki Jiki and go infinite. Oh, that would be spectacular. The odds are obviously not... Oh, Toski too. All right. That's what we wanted to see. Blade Master. And... will you get the new Simian Spirit Guide? I like the new art on Simian Spirit Guide, but what am I going to do with it now that it's banned? So, I don't know. I still have my Mono Red Prison deck. I'm going to have to... in paper, that's... the one modern deck I have in paper is Mono Red Prison. But I guess I'm going to have to rebuild it. Thoughts on mac and cheese? Mac and cheese is pretty delicious. I mean, it depends on what kind you get. Some are better than others, but... yeah, Simian Spirit Guide isn't the most EDH worthy of cards, I don't think. Well, I guess we just Toski time. Gonna counter that one, opponent. Go to combat. Salva Savior. Hit ya, draw a card. Ooh, Pouncy. Well, we're gonna need lands, but opponent Brazen Borrower, sure. And can you stop a Toski though? Can you stop the card draw? Opponent red mana combat. Hits us. Down to 17. Innkeeper. And... oh! Okay. Well, Cub Warden. Mutate on Toski. Over. Make some cats. Go attacking. Opponent trades. We hit our opponent with Toski Cubboard, draw a card. Scryland, still no blue mana. Blade Master to the bottom. Pass the turn. I like the Cubboard synergy. This is a Toski, and it's making tokens to draw some more cards with Toski. I like that synergy. Abash. Still no blue mana. Well, Cub Warden. Mutate on Cub Warden. Over. Go to combat. Attack. Draw some cards. Gain some life. Oh boy, this mana. How have we not hit a blue source? How is this possible? Tap land. Go. I mean, it is sweet. It does sweet things. Hey, what's up, Full Haas? Oh, God. 8, 9, 10. That's a lot of damage. Jeez. That's a lot of damage. Tap land. Sacks the treasure. Oh, still no blue mana. Okay. So, what are our outs? I mean, if we play Toski and draw double, we lose, right? Because this is hitting us for 8, and this is hitting us for 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well. Alright, Toski. Go attacking. Opponent. Blocks. We draw 6. Come on. Alright, blue mana. Is it fast enough? Well, we finally hit blue mana. It's got to be Elrond's Epiphany that's hidden away. So I don't think any of this actually matters. Ugh. Ugh. So Gemrazor Toski just lets it block for a turn. Blocks here. But then we still are going to die, right? We take 12. Discard. 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 Alright. Well, if it's Elrond's Epiphany, then we're just dead. It just took us so long to find a single blue source. Opponent cracks. Yeah, but just making one Reacher is not good enough. I think so. We can make a Reacher. Yeah. All right. Elrond's Epiphany, so we're dead no matter what. Oh, what do you think about? Hey, see you with her Fang. Ugh. What do you think about the rise of Elrond's Epiphany? What do you think about this sideboard? And why is it the worst sideboard anyone's ever constructed? No offense to whoever built this deck, but I mean, I guess the idea is Auricorn is good against aggro, which makes sense. But I feel like one of the issues with this deck is it does have that is true. And I am a firm believer that if you're choosing between not playing any sideboard cards and playing literally any sideboard card, you're better off playing sideboard cards. I think that is probably not a controversial statement. But I think the deck might be a little bit too married to the Yumori plan. When Yumori feels kind of meh to me. Like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. But I think it would be worth giving up Yumori to be able to have removal encounters in the sideboard. Do you have any control for choosing ads? I just arrived here and it was goldfish crackers and it felt right. Oh no, Twitch controls all that, so do not actually have the ability to control the ads, although that is kind of hilarious. Land go. Hey, good luck with the job interview, Gwangi. Thanks for hanging out. See you on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, next one. Yeah, I think after this game, I think we take out Yumori and play a real sideboard and see what happens. Because I feel like that would, or we don't even take out Yumori. We just play a real sideboard along with Yumori and see what happens. Because I feel like we have indestructible stuff, like, we could be taking advantage of that. We could be having Wrass in our deck because they don't kill Toski. We could be playing counter spells. We could have removal spells. There's so many beautiful things that we could have. McFly with the gift sub to Roquid. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. About it. Crushy Crusherton passes. Well, mutate. Over. Go attacking. Opponent takes it. Play the land. Floral Hedron. Go. Will the creature still be a legend? Need to figure out how to exploit this for all the legendary creatures out there. It is not. That is one of the tricks. If we mutate on our Toski, the mutated version is whatever's on top, so it's not a legend. So then we can have multiple Toskis going at once. Opponent. Hunting on opponent. Alright, kills the Floral Hedron. Goes attacking. I'll go to combat. Attack. Brazen Borrower. Play Toski. Land. Well, I guess we'll keep it. Pass the turn. You can get crazy with counter mutates. Yeah, we only have 2 Auspicious Sterixes in this deck as well. Oh, multiple Vorinclexes would be insane. Yeah, I think this deck has a lot of fun ideas. I feel like its actual structure could probably... I feel like it's suffering from trying to be a Yumori deck, basically. I feel like its actual structure... Well, we'll try to do some improvements. Yes, Borrower is very good against Mutate. Doom Foretold is very good against Mutate. Not having any removal is very bad against much of the meta. Yeah, I mean, this one... Alright, I mean, I guess we won't scoop early, because I don't want to get yelled at, but these Foretold cards are extra turn spells, because I believe that's the only Foretell card our opponent's deck plays. So, what do you think about the rise of extra turns in Standard again? Do you think that what do you think about Elrond's Epiphany, essentially? Like, do you think Elrond's Epiphany, do you like having it be a Standard staple at this point, or do you get shades of... Scoot is good with Mutate. We've just played a million Scoot Swarm decks, so that's... I mean, I think Scoot is a cute Mutate, synergy. We've just done it a bunch of times, so... Gutter Snipix, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Alright. So, what is wrong with this deck? I would say number one is this Yumori plan. Like, it feels bad. I don't think it's worth it. So Yumori goes out. Yumori going out allows us to theoretically play a real sideboard. So we can play some Glass Caskets to remove things. We can play some counter spells to answer things. We can play something to blow up artifacts and enchantments more. Well, I guess maybe it's just another Gem Raiser. Alright, so something... I don't know about these Elcids. Something like that. Does any of the mutates give trample? Yes! Gem Raiser gives trample. Bread Truck, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. No. Epiphany is nowhere near Nexus. That's for sure. It is an extra turn spell. So, I wonder, what do you think about Coma in this deck? Is Coma actually... Is it worth it? I feel like we never have blue mana. I feel like the deck is playing way too few basics for being a Migratory Greathorn deck. I mean, we can keep one Coma in the sideboard, maybe. Auspicious Sterix, I feel like, is like the best mutate creature. I do like the Cub Wardens a lot. Skyclave Apparition is also interesting. but I'm not sure how we find room for it. There is a Death Touch Mutate, I believe. I think it's black. Yeah. Insatiable Hemophage. And also, Nethroi. What about the Artifact Snake? So the problem we're running into is just like, do we have enough room for all this stuff? That's the other issue. We also have 29 lands, counting the Floral Hedrons, which a lot of lands is good. I feel like this is just going a bit pathway heavy, maybe. Questing Beast. Questing Beast is sweet. I don't know if we need... I mean, having enough room is the issue. So, Toski's key. We gotta have things to mutate on. Although, really, I think there is a... Like, I wonder if the aggressiveness of Blade Master is better than the filtering of Baby Godzilla. Probably better known as Symbiote. Cut Hedron for Snake. Wait, what's Hedron? Is Snake that good, though? I don't know if Snake's that good. I mean, Snake's fine, but I don't know if it's, like, necessary for what our deck is trying to do. I do like drawing cards. No Parcel Beast either, which is interesting. Maybe something along these lines. So one of the weird things about this deck is I feel like we kind of want to try to go wide as much as we want to go tall. Maybe we can just cut some lands. 25, 29, or whatever, 27. So we're core green-white. We just need a little bit of blue. Alright, go down 1 Skyclave. 3 Temple of Plenties, 4 Temple of Plenties. And I feel like another basic is worth it. Oh my goodness. It's going to be mismatched because I don't want to scroll through 40 lands. Alright, how about that? Let's give that a try. So why no Scoot Swarm? The main reason is we've done Scoot Swarm decks a lot of times. I think that Scoot Swarm is sweet with Mutate, but we've also just played like a ton of Scoot Swarm Mutate decks. So I kind of feel like we've just done it so much. Hey, thanks for the cheer, Fictional. I kind of feel like we've just done it before. But it does go wide, which does mean it works good with Toski. But yeah, I feel like we just played a ton of Scutates. Veto? Ooh, wait. What would Veto do in this deck? I mean, I guess we incidentally gained some life. Isn't there like an infinite mutate combo? Sort of. So, Jingatha, eh? So, there's a couple people have sent me, I don't know if anyone has a list, but there's a list that tries to use that really bad ritual. I don't even remember the name of it. Is it Open the Omen Pass? The really bad ritual that adds mana only for creatures or enchantments. It tries to use that into keep using that with Vadrock to cast it from the graveyard to make mana to keep mutating and go through your entire deck. So there is, I don't know if I call it infinite. It's definitely a combo, but I'm not sure if it's actually the traditional sense of infinite, just because it is dependent on you continuing to draw mutate creatures. We have a new donation from Lucid, $3 donation. By the way, Seth, why the heck did gosh diddly darn. I appreciate the Ned Flanders swearing. A good Ned Flanders swearing, perfect way to keep the stream family friendly. So I appreciate the gosh diddly darn. Why the heck did gosh diddly darn in gosh diddly darn is damnation at Mythic? Has a Wrath ever been Mythic before? Seems like a gross money grab. I just want to play Mono Black Control in Modern. Oh, well, lose it. Thank you for the donation. So damnation at Mythic. Best deck to beat Sultai Ramp. My best deck to beat Sultai Ramp has been Mono White. I feel like Mono White just the biggest upside of Mono White is it crushes Yarion and Sultai decks. That has been my experience, at least. I think since I started playing Mono White, I'm 10-1 or something against Sultai Yarion decks. So I would go with Mono White. So what do you think about damnation at Mythic? So, all right. This is probably not going to be a popular position, but to me it makes sense. Would I be happy if Damnation was a Mythic in Core Set 2022 or whatever the next Core Set we get or something like that? No. That would not make sense to me. And I would probably point that out and make a big deal about it if that's what happened. However, in the context of However, in the context of Time Spiral Remastered, I actually think it makes perfect sense that Damnation would be at Mythic. Because when you look at reprint sets, one of the biggest things, maybe the biggest thing, determining rarity is one of the biggest things determining rarity is price. That's just the facts of reprint sets. And Damnation is an iconic card, and if you go and dig through the list of possible black cards that could show up in Time Spiral Remastered, honestly, I actually looked through the whole list. There's honestly just not that many. There's not that many good options. So, for Time Spiral Remastered in specific, Damnation being Mythic does not bother me. Like I said, if this was a normal set that didn't have the same restrictions and wasn't a reprint set, Damnation and Mythic would very much bother me. At the same time, there have been Wraths at Mythic. There was Descend Upon the Sinful was at Mythic. There's at least a couple of other ones that I'm not thinking of right now. If anyone else remembers the other Mythic Wraths that we've had, let me know in chat. I remember Descend Upon the Sinful in specific was a Mythic Wrath. The Giant Wrath from Eldraine. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we have one in Standard. Realm Cloak Giant is a Mythic Wrath. I think in general, though, I don't really buy the limited argument. I think Wraths at Rare have always been at Rare and Limited has been fine with them at Rare. So I don't really buy the limited argument. It is certainly at Mythic because of price, but at the same time, there's not a lot of good options. There's not a lot of good options for that slot either. So I'll give Wizards a pass for that one. I think Old Border Yawgmoth is one of the top tier Old Border cards. Let's play this. Get rid of Lovestruck Beast. Floral Hedron. Hit you with the Great Heart. Ooh, all right, no showdown with the Skulls, please. No showdown. But I think that's top tier. Top tier Old Border card. Number one Old Border card, I think so far for me is Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize, Ponder, Yawgmoth's on there. Do you think we'll see Ursa as well? So they're spoiling cards by color. So I would say no, because I believe that we've already gotten. I believe that we've already gotten all the blue cards. Is this a trap? Yeah, we're gonna save it. I don't know. Could be a trick of some kind. Yeah, alright. Not a trick. Boot it. Crushy Crusherton makes a token. And... oh, we could use Asterix. We could use a Coma. Oh, you know what else we could use? Toski. Oh. Play Toski. Play the land. No attacks this turn. Leave up the Shore Shark. Oh boy. Alright, this is gonna be close. This is gonna be super close. Ooh, Reflections of Lajara for Modern. Huh? Whoa! No, 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 no. 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 Opponent's also Toskiing? That's not fair. That's not fair at all. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, we don't want our opponent to draw cards, so we will get a island. Mutate on Toski. Well, loot away a land we didn't want. Over. Bounce Toski. Toski Wars! Toski Wars. It is a squirrel fight. Opponent hits us for 2. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Give us something good. Give us Asterix. Or more Toski. Don't, no. No more Bone Crushers. Many more Bone Crushers. I'm gonna combat. Ugh. This Clarion Spirit's just going off, though. One of the things about Toski is, for it to work, we actually need to be able to hit our opponent with creatures, and it doesn't seem like it's actually all that easy to hit our opponent with creatures. And now Toski's going to come down, and our opponent's going to draw... yeah, I mean, this is just... it's over, right? I think this is just over. Would have put Gemrazor on Toski, just to try to cycle it. Yeah... we could have, but then we don't have any blockers. Like, we're going to draw 1 card. Oh my goodness, we loot away something we wanted. We're going to draw 1 card, but our opponent's going to start drawing 6 cards a turn or something. So I feel like that's a losing line. I mean, we would have drawn 1 card, but then, yeah. See, the problem is our opponent is going to draw 7 or so. At least leaving back Gemrazor, we can block a spirit. That's something. Oh, that Skyclave Evaporation would have helped. Wow, yeah. Alright, sure. Well, I mean, it's good to see Toski doing well. Unfortunately, it was doing well for our opponent. But it was sweet. Alright, so. Huh. Well, I guess we bring in more removal. At least to some extent. Do a bit of trimming. Try it again. Feel like you had no outs without drawing the extra card. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like we had no outs either way. Like, with our opponent having the Toski, I feel like we were just, no matter what happens there. It's painful to put Gemrazor. The thing that makes it painful is, if we put Gemrazor over the Shore Shark, over the Toski, we're technically just gaining 1 power. So we're spending a lot of cards and resources for what essentially ends up being give a creature, like using this like a 3 mana enchantment that says give a creature trample, essentially, which is not a lot of value. Maybe it's worth it because we get to draw a card, but with our opponent being able to go so wide, I don't really think much of what we did there matters. In some ways, this is kind of a awkward Toski deck because we saw our opponent's deck is kind of built on going wide. Mutate is like by definition about going tall. So I think that's one of the interesting aspects of this deck is we're kind of like using this go wide payoff with a go tall mechanic, which is different. It's interesting. I mean, I do love drawing cards. That is true. Opponent. Just spare a Sentinel. Yeah. I don't know about just spare a Sentinel. I've seen, what was the old one? Loam Dryad? That's a card that I've seen many pros mention as the worst card they've ever played in a tournament. Or at least some number of pros mention that. Alright, play this. Get out, baby Godzilla. Go. Have you seen the Valkyrie Mystic Reflection combo? Is it like what we played in the Orvar Against the Odds deck? Or is there something more specific than, like, is a combo just like trying to make a bunch of Valkyries with Mystic Reflection, or is there something more to it than that? You know what? I think we just play this on green, just run out Gemraiser. Loot. Yeah, is Selfa Savior worth it? I'm not 100% sure. We are going to discard it, so no. I guess not. We have a new sub, Iron Dreaded, for the 50th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. Ooh, the Zubera with Reflections of Lajara does sound sweet. Holy. The combo uses Phalith. Okay. So, basically, play Phalith and try and make a bunch of Righteous Valkyries. That's sweet. I approve. I do like Mystic Reflection. Mystic Reflection's a sweet card. About it. I'll play this, crack this. Get a Forest. Toski. Attack. Opponent blocks. Wow, opponent really does not want us to draw a card. Alright. I'll pass the turn. Oh, come on, lands. Lands to get to the Sterix and put the Sterix on the Toski and win the game. Suzuki! Toski is the best squirrel. Welcome to the Fishbowl. How goes the editing, by the way? Thank you for the subscription for the 4th month. Big scoop cheer for you. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Justin Satter? How are you? Ugh, so much card draw. Opponent. Oh, Soul Seer. Okay. That's not ideal. Wow, so they're going to be able to kill our Toski and they have another showdown? Or do one of those two? Love Struck Beast token. I'll play this. Get rid of the 1/1. Go attacking. Draw some cards. Do not find a land. Baby Godzilla, go. Ooh, now we're not drawing lands. Why no Mutate Sterix? Because it costs 6? Like, we didn't have the mana for it, right? Wait, did I actually punt? Or are you miscounting the Mutate cost of Sterix? How does it cost 4? It costs 6. Minus 1 from Baby Godzilla. I mean, we had to... Remember, we played one of these this turn. So, we spent 2 mana on a Baby Godzilla. Without that, we would have only had -1 mana. If we had hit a land, we could have done it post-combat, but we did not hit a land. Boot it. Lovestruck Beast returns. Wow. Okay. Ignores the Toski, kills the symbiote. That is a interesting decision. I'll go to combat, attack, draw 2. Oh, dear goodness. We cannot draw... We cannot draw land to save our lives. Well, Great Horn on Symbiote. Loot. Discard Sky... yeah, discard Skyclave. Over. Get a Plains. Floral Hedron. Go. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. About it. Oh, how bad is it? We survive one showdown in this call's kind of. Opponent plays a land. I mean, next turn we might be able to spin it to win it. We might be able to spin it to win it with this Auspicious Staring, so that who knows about it. Yeah, that is a very weird choice to spend your Soul Seer on a non-Toski. Eldraine. About it. Yeah. Eldraining. Eldraining. Still Eldraining. And... oh my goodness. So many Lovestruck Beasts have been drawn. Well, we shall see about it. Passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mutate Sterix. Discard. Cub Warden. Over. Get a basic. Get rid of Innkeeper. Land on white. Great Horn. Mutate. Discard Toski for now. Under. Triggers. Land. The ugly one. Land. The ugly one. Oh! Alright, keep the old Toski. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I do wish we had mutated on the Toski now with how that played out. But that was still a good turn. That was still a good turn. But we probably should have mutated out the Toski and it would have been better. Lovestruck Beast. Again. They keep coming. I mean, next turn's going to be insane. Next turn, we should be able to put our entire deck into play, more or less. Phone it. Fable Passage cracks it. Is it Toski time for our opponent? Toski Wars? Oh. Okay, Toski Wars. Opponent. Does not attack. Well. 1, 2. I wish we were mutating on Toski, though. But we can't give up this Sterix value. So, Shore Shark, mutate. Discard a land. Under. Bounce a token. Yeah, no lands. Still no lands. Get some stuff. Yes. Mutate. Wait. Is this a good one? Yes, that's the one. Oh! That wasn't intentional. Oh. What happened? Why? Why? Yeah, Toski battles Toski. Well, mutate. Oh, that's a good draw. Over. Under. Bounce Toski. No land. No land. Give us some goodies. Keep a new Toski. Get rid of a love-struck beast. Oh, it's working. It's working. How many cards we got left? 16. Oh, we're good. Post comes it up. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That's what we want to see the deck doing. The only thing that would have made that better is if we had mutated on the Toski. That's my one regret from that game, is we coulda, shoulda, woulda mutated on the Toski, but that is what the deck can do. That is an example. Maybe these Selfless Saviors are not good enough in this matchup. Let's go down to 1. Run it like that. Whew, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. All right, as we go to our next round, I kind of like the idea of this deck. It does do fun things. And Toski is a sweet Magic card. We got Toski. Sure. Man, it's not exciting. All right, before we play this game, a quick reminder that our sponsor this afternoon is Card Kingdom. And if you need some Magic cards, you know where you get them. CardKingdom.com. Even get a free Scoop Soldier sticker. They're pretty nice. Oh my god. Okay, chat. So I've been telling you, yeah, we made a few updates, mostly getting rid of the companion, which was just giving us way more trouble than it was worth. It was keeping us from playing good sideboard cards, so we ended up cutting it. So chat, I've been telling you a little bit. Sometimes my remastered singles are already up, Suzuki. I think, as of today at least, some were up. So, I think we're good. Ooh, how risky are we? We're a little risky. Floral Hedron. We would like to mutate, if we could, and start the fun. So, I got to play some Magic against my little nephew this weekend. He actually was in town, so I got to see my little nephew. We got to play Magic. So we sit down to the game. And I've been telling you how I've been. Oh, yeah, that's kind of the blowout. Well, that's good though. Snag the Clarion Spirit. So we sit down to the game. We're playing. He gets me down to 9 life, and he's at 20. He draws his card for the turn. He just starts cackling. And he's like 8 years old. So he just starts cackling and cackling. So he draws a card. He grabs the paper that I'm keeping track of my life total on. Why is still laughing? And apparently drew a 9-9. And he, next to my life total, he wrote 9-9 and then threw the paper back at me. Oh. So that's the next generation of Magic players. You have that to look forward to. Coming soon to a Magic Fest near you. Well, Cub Warden, over. Make some cats. Can we expect a non-budget version of Clerics? Yes, I am planning on playing non-budget Clerics at some point. Not exactly sure when we'll play non-budget Clerics, but it is on my to-do list. So what this week we have coming up, actually more Pioneer for Much Brew this week. Tomorrow for Against the Odds, narfing around in Modern with Snow, and the Snow deck is super sweet. The Snow deck is super sweet for sure. So affiliate link for Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/goldfish, I believe. Interesting. How do we want to do this? Opponent has 2 cards. Alright, let's 1, 2, 3. Great Horn. Mutate. On a cat. Over. Blue, white, white, green, white or blue. So take green. Play this on blue. Attack. Glass Casket. Hit the Sentinel of all things. Must go. Pass the turn. Oh, yeah, he did end up winning. Opponent. Ooh, opponent has Toski. Goes attacking. Alright. Opponent gets the first Toski cards. That's going to dig him out of their mulligan. That's not good for us. I wish we could do more than one thing. Well, mutate on the Great Horn. Over. Make some cats. Get a land. No attacks. Can't let them keep drawing with Toski. Next turn, Skyclave plus Toski plus we draw. And if we draw a Mutator, we can make more cats. We'll see. We'll see. Haven't encountered too many rogues. I think it's actually MTG Goldfish. You're correct. I just tried the Goldfish link and it did not work, so. Oh, come on now. Oh, come on now. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Alright. Well, opponent is living dreams much better than we are. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I am so disappointed. Opponent draws a card. We draw nothing. Well, we kill a Toski, but I don't think it matters at this point. Play a Toski. Oh, the dream was killed by Eldraine. Why does that set still remain in Standard? Opponent, just bear a Sentinel. And Innkeeper. I kind of feel, so my take is, if your deck is playing Lovestruck Beach, Ezreal Innkeeper, Bowcrusher Giant, it's not a new deck. If you're playing those cards, you could throw basic lands in for the other whatever number of cards, and your deck would be perfectly fine. So I don't think if your deck is built around like, oh, 20 busted adventure cards that have been top tier for 18 months, and then you're like, haha, Clarion Spirit. I don't think that actually That actually counts as a brew, in my opinion. That's just my take. I don't know if that actually is considered a brew. Perfect timing with the Showdown of the Skulls combo. About it. I'm not being salty. It's just like, hey, we know from 18 months that if you play Edgewell Innkeeper and a bunch of adventures, your deck is going to be somewhere between getting banned and the best deck in Standard. Because that's how it's been for the last 18 months since Eldraine became a set. About it. I think that's actually an interesting question. Like, what is your definition of brew? Because I actually think, yeah, I mean, this is just, yeah, Eldraine. I think it's actually like a really interesting question because let's say you, like, what counts as a brew for you? Because I think that's something that there's actually not really a definition of. Like, if you take a top tier Standard deck and add a janky card in, like, is that a brew? Is that a new deck? Is it a suboptimal version of a tier 1 deck? I think that's actually, and I don't know the answer to it. That's something I struggle with something like Against the Odds. Like, when Narfi, here's an easy example. When Narfi won the poll, Narfi does two things. Narfi's a zombie lord and it's a snow lord. If you take Narfi and play Snowlands and put it in a deck with a bunch of zombies, is that even like a brew, at least to the level that I would feel comfortable playing it Against the Odds? I don't know. Like, does that count? Because we've played zombies a ton of times before. I mean, I guess Snowlands is different. Narfi's different. So that's something I personally, so it wasn't supposed to be like a knock on anyone. That's just like something that I haven't come up with a definition of. And I've been building decks for like a long time now. We've been making and brewing decks for a long time. So I think we just put probably, oh, this is bad in every way, right? Put that to the bottom. Go. Sometimes you find at the end of your brewing directions up matching other decks, and as you play, it may even take some things you saw in a core brain and change them. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Old Border Ponder is going to be super expensive. The age of surprising people with a totally new deck, with a totally new deck in Standard is gone. I mean, that's probably true, just with how much Magic gets played before the set is even out, really. I mean, I don't know if that's totally true, though. I think we had, like, Kethis Combo was a deck that I would say came along pretty late into Standard. I'm sure that someone somewhere had like tried it before. I think that's true with every brew. I think every deck we play in Against Odds, there's someone who could send an email and say, I did something similar, on Arena, on Magic Online, at a F&M, because there's just so many people playing Magic. But Kethis Combo, I think, was a deck that definitely came later in the Standard experience. Bona passes. Well, play this on blue. Pass the turn. About it. Land. And Clarion Spirit. Okay. And a Bone Crusher. Okay. Opponent. Wow. Not even going to attack with the... Not even going to attack. Well, we will Shore Shark. Bounce a Spirit. Toski. Fabled Passage. Crack it. The question's going to be, do we get to the Sterix? Like, the Sterix is the card that I think gives us a shot. Alright. No attacks past the dirt. Leave up the Shore Shark. Opponent. Land. Goes to combat. Attacks. Well, we'll take it. Boy. Land for Sterix is what we need. Well, Mutate Shore Shark. Over. Bounce. Bounce. Yes. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Show us a land. Just a beautiful untapped land. Well, alright. That's not a beautiful untapped land. Over. Bounce. Bounce. I mean, we're slowing our opponent down, I guess. Sort of. Hit ya. Oh, what I would give to cast this Sterix. It would be so insane. It would be so good. We've already mutated a bunch of times. It would be so incredibly good. I think a brew is something which is crafted with... Alright, Clarion Spirit. And... Clarion Spirit makes a dork. And cracks. And attacks. And we're at 9. Well, that's a land. See what we hit. Mutate. Over. Get some triggers. Bounce a Clarion Spirit. Bounce a Clarion Spirit. Alright. A bunch of lands and a Toski. Okay. Pass the turn. Oh, that was pretty whiffy. Lands and Toski's pretty whiffy. About it. There's always an Eldraine card that is lurking to wreck ya. Oh, yeah, we were hoping to hit another creature or two. We really need a mutator now. Anything that mutates to put on the Sterix would be absurd. About it. Many cards in hand. Clarion Spirit. Yup. What is a Blade Master for? So, the original build of the deck, I think, was trying to use it to build a big double striker, but we ended up cutting it because it felt pretty questionable. Well, this is it. One more draw. Thin the deck, Crim style. Oh, okay. Anything with Mutate, Magic Gods. That doesn't do it. And now we die. Unfortunate. Oh, boy. Oh, that was going to be such a sweet turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Oh, it was going to be such a good turn. How did Tomer get involved with MTG Goldfish Crew? I'm familiar with, you were discovered writing Reddit articles. Krim, same game tours. Richard, not sure about how Big T got involved. Ew. 4, 5, 6, block. Sure. Fair enough. Well, I mean, whiffing is a thing that can happen. Glass Casket is sort of an answer, but it's not really an answer if our opponent's playing a bunch of Gem Razors. We'll see. So Tomer, I think, was writing Commander articles on... I actually don't know I can't remember the site that he was writing articles on. But yeah, Tomer had been making Commander content. Doing stuff similar to what he does. No, I don't think Tomer was a Newmont. I want to say pure MTGO, but I don't know if that's correct either. It might not have been that, but he was writing Commander content somewhere, and that's kind of where it started from. Ooh, new Magus of the Moon art. Ooh. There better be an Old Border Blood Moon. Actually, I guess that doesn't make sense because they already have an Old Border Blood Moon. But I will take more Old Border Blood Moons. New Magus of the Moon art. Okay. What is the original? Let's do a comparison. What do you think, chat? Old or new? Magus of the Moon, number 1. Magus of the Moon, new edition. I'm actually not sure which one. I feel like... So they both have the moon, I guess. I think I like how this moon looks more like the original Blood Moon. So I think I like the callback. But, I mean, this one does have some good colors. What's your vote, chat? What's your vote? Old? I mean, the other thing is... I tend to just always default to old, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but there's a circle in hell just for people that play Blood Moon. Well, I mean, totally worth it. Burning in hell for eternity versus playing Blood Moon for a lifetime. It's gotta be Blood Moon. Opponent, Tangled Floral Hedron. Sure. And a Lovestruck Beast. Well, I guess we just mutate. Over. Get a island. Smack you a little bit. Pass the turn. Yeah, people seem to like the daytime streams. I don't want to get rid of all of the nighttime streams, but I think that 2 daytime streams, 1 nighttime stream is likely to be the norm moving forward because the response has been very positive to more daytime streams. So yeah, so expect moving forward, I think our change will be permanent. Possibly in the future, we might move the days around and try to do the Thursday one as a daytime one. But that wouldn't be till a bit in the future because of Commander Clash anyway. Because right now, this season Commander Clash is taking place on Tuesday or Thursday afternoons. But I would like to split them up more. My ideal world would be to have a daytime stream early in the week That was more of a hit. A daytime stream early in the week, another one later in the week, and a nighttime stream in between, but Eldraine, hooray. Sure. That's why we want to be mutating on Toski, but Toski's felt inconsistent. We either draw Toski in a time when it doesn't do anything. We've had very few times where... I mean, I'm kind of thinking we just need to throw Edgewall Innkeeper... I'm kind of thinking we just need to throw Edgewall Innkeeper into our deck, right? Well, Sterix. Put it on Baby Godzilla. Loot away Shore Shark. Over. Great Horn. Loot. Discard a Cub Warden. Discard another Cub Warden. We cannot draw land to save our life. Under. Mutate first because we would like a land. Oh, we don't have the right color. Yeah, we actually can't get blue mana anyway. Alright, well. Pass the turn. Whew. Yeah, more basics still. I think this deck wants a lot of basics. Oh my golly. Oh, come on, Eldraine. Come on, Eldraine. Really now? Really? Opponent goes to combat. Does some attacking. Yeah. Down to 11. Sure. Eldraine. I mean, I like Eldraine as a set too. I think the themes of the set are sweet. I think it's just unfortunate that they were pushed so hard. Or that they just stay in standard for so long. One or the other. Like, if you want to push it, rotate more often. Or the other option is to not push things to such an extent and stay with the current rotation schedule. But I don't think the current rotation schedule works with the power of recent sets. I'll go to combat, do some attacking. About it. Thinking it over. About it. Alright, takes it down to 7. Pass the turn, pass the turn. I mean, mutating onto Shore Shark, just, we bounce something, but there's nothing very good to bounce. Like, our opponent's gone so wide that bouncing stuff just doesn't really have a whole lot of value. So I feel like gaining extra life and building more big creatures is, I think, probably better than mutating together 2 Cub Wardens and losing out on the lifelink, or bouncing a, I don't know, something that draws our opponent a card or a token that's going to be replaced. That's not great. Toski. Well, this Shore Shark does still give us a bit of hope. Opponent attacks. 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 What do we want to mutate on? So we get double bounce if we go with Shore Shark, but is double bounce even helpful? Bounce in 2 tokens? Yeah, let's do that. So go on Cub Warden. Loot. Make tokens. Discard Baby Godzilla. Under. Make some cats. Bounce the Toski. Oh, come on, more mutators. No blocks. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Opponent. Thinking. Oh, this is so close. Playing this deck does make me wonder, has anyone actually played the, like, combo ritual mutate thing? Opponent. Yeah. Makes another dork. So is that our death, I guess? I'm playing this. Hit the innkeeper. All attack. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. Ooh. Opponent goes to 1. Ooh, we're at 15. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, here we go, opponent. Your go. Feel free to play Toski and draw 20 cards. We would be doing it too if we could. Opponent. Toski. I mean, if we can draw mutators, we can bounce stuff. Wow. Or maybe our opponent's just gonna die. Okay. I guess our opponent's just giving up. Huh. Well, we will take it. At least our opponent's drawn a lot of cards on the way out the door. We want to loot this away. Like, mutators are what we want. So being able to loot it away to hopefully hit more mutators, I think is more valuable than running it out. Well, we got there. That was a very weird choice by our opponent. Yeah, I mean, I think Clarion's a decent Magic card. Chain Web. What do they have that flies, though? Is it just the tokens? I think we would... I mean, ideally... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Chain Web's worth it. It could be. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's worth considering. Ugh. Slow. Yeah, I can't keep that. Alright. This is also, unfortunately, slow. And we know our opponent's got answers. We'll keep the 2. People want to see double. Yeah. People want to see double Cub Warden, so maybe this is the time. Blue, blue, white. I'll play this. Pass the turn. Thin the deck. Put it. More Sentinels. All right. Sure. Well, now they can tap each other for mana. So we're gonna need double white. Yeah, we'll take a plains. Double white and green and eventually blue. Innkeeper. Yeah. Removal? No. Well, play this on green, go. Oh boy. Not fast. Could use removal. That would be good. Favorite red old border card so far? Who? I mean, Kiki Jiki looks really sweet in old border. It might. Oh dear. Yeah, it might be Kiki Jiki. Oh. Well, I guess we shouldn't have lost the die roll on this one, or had to go last. All right, your go. Swift Spear is good. We hit removal, but too late. What is your favorite red old border card, chat? Mutate has drawn a new hand, makes money. Yeah. All right, sure. Sure. Brutal. Forked Bolt? Wait, is there an old border Fork Bolt? Oh, I was meaning... I was actually meaning from Time Spiral Remastered, but... Any old border card also counts. Fork and Bolt are good choices. Fork is a sweet card. I think the worst old border card, the one that I don't understand, is Liliana's Triumph. Like, why in the world is Liliana's Triumph in the set as an old border card? That one really doesn't make sense to me. Most of them, even the ones that are like old commons and uncommons, almost all of them are at least playable somewhere. Like, they're playable in Modern or Legacy or Commander or Pauper, but the one that got me was Liliana's Triumph. I was just like, why? Like, no one really plays that anywhere that I'm aware of. So that's the dud that you definitely don't want to hit. I have not seen Fatal Push. No, so I assume that it's not there. Well, looks like it's a bit more this, a bit more Eldraine. About it. Maybe that's the problem. We're playing like Ikoria in in the world of Eldraine. Maybe that's the problem with Mutate. It's not that Mutate's not good. It's that it's just from the wrong set. Well. Huh. Land in Floral Hedron. Go. About it. Wife plays Liliana's Triumph in with sorta Commander. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm glad to see his play somewhere. I mean, as long as someone wants it. Opponent, Eldraines. Sure. Tap land hits us. Well, Floral Hedron and Fabled Passage. Go. Hey, good game, Salty Mike. Yeah, I mean, Bone Crusher is in, like, I don't know, 50+% of decks, I believe. I'll have to look at the stats. It's been a week or two since I've checked the percentages, but it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the BNR anymore. Like, I don't know what makes a card bannable at this point anymore. Because historically, if there was a card that was 50% or more of the meta, you would almost assuredly be hearing people talk about bannings just based on its metagame percentage. However, we haven't really seen that with we haven't really seen that too much. A little bit. I mean, everyone's saying they, wish Eldraine would just rotate or blah blah blah, but it doesn't seem like Wizards has even really considered the possibility of banning the Eldraine cards that have such a high metagame percentage. So I don't know. I mean, do you think? I think it's a actually interesting question. Like, what do you think about cards that are obviously not broken? Like Bone Crusher Giant, it's just two cards in one. Both halves are pretty efficient for what they do, so it sees a ridiculous amount of play. So it's not a broken card in the traditional sense, but at the same time, it is a ridiculously huge part of the metagame. How do you feel about cards like that? Is there like if it's a percent of the meta, we should ban it level for you? Or could a card be, let's look at the extreme. What if Bone Crusher Giant was in 100% of decks? Should it be banned, even though it's not broken? Or take even a worse card. Let's say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's really, really tame. Glass Casket. Let's say literally 100% of decks are playing Glass Casket. Or Migratory Greathorn. A card that's certainly not broken, but, yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think we live in a changing world when it comes to Magic, for sure. I'll play Symbiote. Mutate on the Greathorn. Discard Floral Hedron. Over. Blow up Great Henge. Get a Forest. Oh no. Oh no. That means Fabled Passage doesn't do anything. Yeah, the deck definitely needs more basics, I think. Running out of basics has been something that has been a problem multiple times, because we would have really liked to have been able to Skyclave Apparition and kill a Lovestruck Beast. That would have been a big deal. Jesse, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, loot away the Deadlands. Put it over. Spin into a Toski. Pass the turn. Technically not literally dead, but we'll see. There's a lot of Eldraine hanging out over there. Giant Killer draws a card. I mean, any card that just says ETB draw a card is strong. Beansy, for the 18th month, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Opponent. Well, we'll see. We get to untap, which is nice. Well, mutate Cubwarden. Loot away the Deadland. Oh, it's gonna be close. Under. Give us some cats. Give us some free cards, hopefully. Okay. And then... Is there any upside to mutating now? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, still playing Soul Herder? Soul Herder is super sweet. Soul Herder is definitely one of the sweetest cards you can play in Modern. Well, attack with Toski. I think we gotta play it at instant speed. Opponent blocks. Well, okay, we can bounce something. We can make some more cats. Can we stabilize? Opponent taps. Okay. And Lovestruck Beast. Okay. Sure. Combat. Attacks. 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 Get in with that innkeeper. Get in with that innkeeper. Well, Shore Shark. Mutate. Loot away a land. Under. Make some cats. Bounce a Lovestruck Beast. Oh! Yes. 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 Bounce it. Out of here. Give us that Toski. Block you. Block you. Block you. And now we have the Toski. Oh! Opponent stuff dies. Yes. Great Horde. Add it to the pile. Add it to the pile. Keep the fun going. Boom. Sterix. Loot. Discard a land. Under. Triggers. Out of here, Lovestruck Beast. Cats. No lands. Many lands. Yes, please. You know what? I think we will play a Skyclave Apparition. Get rid of the Innkeeper. Big attack. Big attack. Here they come. Opponent. Down to one. Our hand refueled from the squirrel. Yes. Draw 8. That's pretty good. I mean, this should be over, right? Hopefully. Floral Hedron. Go. Discard Toski. Opponents hit 1. The comeback against Eldraine. Oh, oh. I mean, when it works, it really works. Hey, what's up, Monster CC? How are you? We have 18 cards in our deck, which means we can still Pouncing Shore Shark, and will. And opponent scoops it up, and we have overcome the Eldraine in that game. Wow, that was looking grim. Our opponent was drawing so many cards, but the comeback was on, and the comeback was successful. Ooh, so chat, what format have you been enjoying most recently? We just got a bunch of bannings. Anything been sticking out? I'm pretty hyped for Strixhaven, Nento. So an old art card type Sorry Bastard has an equal 1 in 21 chance to appear. The chance of each card being foil is 1 in 27. Am I correct that an old border Thoughtseize will appear in 1 out of every 3,267 packs? Let me double check. I think so. What is that? What is that in boxes? I know it's around 90 boxes. Yep. That is the numbers I have seen, is that you will get the specific old border card, Thoughtseize or whatever, about once in every 91 boxes. So that would light up, which, I mean, if you think about that, think what that means. 91 boxes. Let's say they sell for $200 a piece. That means it takes $18,150 of boxes to get one of each, on average, of the old border cards. If you consider there's 121 of those, Obviously, there's other stuff going on in the set as well. The normal old border cards, the rest of the set. But if you just divide that up, that's like $150. So I'm expecting that the foil old border cards are going to be pretty insanely expensive. Like, really expensive. I would not be surprised to see foil old border cards be like almost masterpiece expensive. I think if you look at maybe ultimate box toppers. Ew. That's a full-on showcase ad. Little Godzilla. Some showcase cards. Alright. Let's see. Tassiger. Like, I would not be surprised to see prices be... I'll play this. I'm trying to pull up the ultimate box toppers. Alright, so I would not be surprised to see foil pricing be something like this, in all honesty. Where the good ones are $200+, maybe even more than that. Going down to, like, the ones that no one wants, maybe they're $10 to $20. But I think foil old border cards are going to be probably a lot more expensive than people might even be expecting. Like, I'm expecting them to be very expensive. Yeah, I think that is... It's a weird set when you look at the value, because I do think the old border cards, especially the foil ones, are going to be where most of the value comes from. So I think you can almost kind of, like, ignore some of the main set reprints, honestly. Oh, yeah. How many of you have drafted Time Spiral? Time Spiral, original Time Spiral block, it is a blast to draft. It is a top tier limited format, for me at least. I have really, really liked original Time Spiral draft. So I am very excited to see it returning. Hopefully this will give a bunch of people another chance to experience it. I still wouldn't mind Wizards. I like the remastered thing, but I still wouldn't mind Wizards just straight up reprinting sets. Like, old boxes have gotten so expensive that I honestly wouldn't mind if Wizards was just like, hey, we're doing another print run of Innistrad. We're doing another print run of whatever. Like, name a set, a Zendikar. Like, just reprint it, put more boxes out there. Terribly draft any tips. Don't sleep on the suspend cards. Like, some of them, like Erratic Ephemeron, looks like a pretty medium card. It's actually a pretty insane card. We don't have double white. Well, play Baby Godzilla. Mutate. Discard Glass Casket. Go over. Land, go. Alright, opponent. Alright, opponent. Ooh, yeah, unlimited would be interesting. I mean, reserve list still is an issue, at least for Wizards, so that might still be a concern. I don't know if they do it with reserve list cards. Glass Casket. Hits the Poliwag. I don't go to combat. Attack. Hit ya. Draw a card. I'll keep the fun going. Under. Cats. Oh, I think the squirrel's taking down Eldraine. I think the squirrel's actually really truly taking down Eldraine. About it. Endkeeper. Eldraine is come, but is it fast enough for our opponent? We got Toski. Toski's like Eldraine times 2. Who would have thought that Toski would be such a sweet card? About it. Tanos with a gift sub to Stolen Prayers. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Reprinting expensive boxes is a surefire way to lose collectors. Is it? Like, are collectors I don't think there's a whole lot, like, potential lawsuits from Wait, no, are you talking about, the reserve list? I mean, yeah, that's kind of up for debate how possible that is, but I don't think there's any reason Wizards can't reprint more Zendikar boxes. Like that, there's definitely no issue there. I don't actually really think that would impact collectors. I think if by collectors you mean people who are like trying to invest in Magic as like a financial play, then sure, maybe. But as far as people who are like, I guess what I would consider collectors that are collecting the game because they love Magic cards and they also know that they have value, so they feel safe having that be their hobby. I wouldn't think that reprinting stuff like random booster boxes would. Let's just do this. Would actually be a huge deal there. Yeah, discard a land. Under. Cats. Bounce. Yeah. We will draw some cards. Yes, please. And yeah, let's keep it going. Mutate. Discard a symbiote. Over. Make some cats. Lots of cats. This is our deck full bore. That is as good as it gets. What do you got about it? Eldraine. Yeah. More Eldraine, sure. Eldraine? Double Toski. If we mill out, I'm fine with that, I think. Yes. Yes, draw that card about it. Well, land on white. Oh, man. Sterix is probably sweeter, though, right? Oh, we can probably do both. Mutate. Loot. Discard a Toski. Over. Get a few triggers. Bounce Bone Crusher. Yeah. Go to combat. Attack, you bet. Two Toskis! Two Toskis! We don't get to draw the cards because our opponent's dead, but that's two Toskis. Alright. Alright, that was good. That was good. What? One more? Let's do one more. But drawing out is the best way to die in a game of Magic. For everyone complaining about Wizards reprints, please clarify how you justify reprints to the Hasbro CEO and keep your job as head of Wizards. Wait, I mean, reprints are a positive for Wizards, right? Like, reprints, I think, are a positive for Wizards. Because Wizards makes tons of money selling reprint products. Like, Wizards just talked about how they made $900 million last year between Magic and D&D. And what happened last year is a ton of reprints, like secret lair drops becoming a thing, and more and more supplemental products, getting double masters and commander legends. So I actually think that from Wizards' perspective, that's a funny thing. No, the record is not accurate. I'm actually not sure what it is at the moment. But we've played a lot more games than two. Oh my god. Eldraine. The funny thing is with the reserve list is it's one of it's one of those weird scenarios where Wizards would like to be able to reprint the reserve list. Um, a huge majority of the player base would like reprints of the reserve list. Um, Vendors, like whatever, Star City Games or whatever, any of the vendors who are actually like on the record about their feelings on the reserve list would prefer that the reserve list go away and the cards be reprinted. So it's very strange that it's a topic that essentially unites almost all the community. And if you know the Magic community and you follow it on the internet, there's not a whole lot that the Magic community agrees on. The one of the very few things that all the sides of the Magic community agree on is the game would be better without the reserve list. Hilariously, it's also one of the few things that has not changed and may not change. So it's kind of hilarious. Did you play against the exact same deck the last 4 matches? We have played against Adventure Eldraine decks the last 4 matches. There's been some variation. This is an Abash one. The last one was not Abash. So not exactly the same, but the plan of Edgewell Innkeeper, Lovestruck Beast, and Bone Crusher Giant is kind of the driver of a lot of decks in Standard. So not exact same, but in the same ballpark for sure. So like the reserve list, it did serve a purpose at its time. I think the way that Wizards worded it, even at its time, I would consider to be a mistake. But it did. There was a reason Wizards created the reserve list, so it wasn't like Wizards created the reserve list for absolutely no reason. However, I think the problem is that they made it a promise like forever, and they didn't just do it and they did it for a whole bunch of sets over a whole bunch of years. So here's what I think. I think essentially, yes, the reserve list served a purpose at its time, but Wizards just didn't think Magic was going to be a game 25 years later. Like, I think that's the bottom line. Patera Misha, welcome to the Fishbowl for the 3rd month. Thank you for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. But I think that's essentially what it is Wizards made a promise to keep the game going at the time. And I think if you ask even, like, Wizards, they would not have expected Magic to still be a game 25 years later. So we're paying the price for a promise they made at the time, thinking we got to keep the game going for like the next like year. We need the immediate future. We need the game to keep going. We massively overprinted stuff with Homelands and Fallen Empires and Chronicles. Like we made some mistakes. Things went really wrong with how we were printing stuff. So we need to do something to keep the game alive for now. But and at the time it was fine, but it was not a promise looking to 20 years in the future with 40 million people playing the game. Silverbucks, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. So necessary at the time, but short-sighted is probably how I would classify it. I don't really mind the reserve list since there are already so many Magic cards to play. If anything, they should just ban the reserve list. Yeah, I mean, and that I guess that is also true. Like, if you're someone who plays casual Commander or who plays primarily on Arena, maybe the reserve list just doesn't actually matter that much to you. Really could use white mana. We either need white mana or we need to resolve the Sterix, I think, to have any hope here. Hmm. Okay. It's probably got to be Cupboard and still, I think. So play the land. This is only mutated once? Oh. So we get 2 dorks. These have to both attack. We go up to 8. We block, we block. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's our best bet. Under. Trigger. Bounce a Lovestruck Beast. Go attacking. Opponent blocks. Wow, even cashes in the Innkeeper. Okay. Up to 9. Definitely not 100% dead yet. We're in it. We're staying alive. We're staying alive. But the game wouldn't exist today without the promise. The game would have died. I would say that's partly true. Like, Wizards definitely had to do something. I think with how things went in the early 90s. Whether or not they had to promise to not reprint most of the best cards in the game ever, I think that's the part that I would say would be up for debate. Like, I do agree that they had to do something, and that there definitely was a purpose to the whole reserve list thing. Alright, yeah. Sterix. Opponent. Perfect Dark Ritual. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Opponent really doesn't like fun. Opponent. Foretells. Presumably another counterspell. Lovestruck Beast. Passes. Oh. Skyclave Apparition. Get rid of Lovestruck Beast. Go to combat. Attack. About it. We need the card draw. We need mutators. About it. Oh, there's always more Eldraine. Always another Eldraine card hanging out around the corner. Well, Baby Godzilla, pass the turn. I assume our opponent's going to start taking extra turns. Yeah, I mean, we're playing standard Jables, so apparently a very high percentage of people are playing Eldraine cards. Who would have guessed? Favorite change to Magic in its history? Extra turn. I mean, I think they just have 2 more extra turns hidden away, so I assume this is just it. Favorite change in Magic's history? Hmm. Um. I mean, there's been some good ones. The Cascade rule. Wow. All right. Sure. 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 Extra turns for days. Huh. I will say it does get a bit tedious just to play essentially the same handful of cards, play against the same handful of cards over and over. It's kind of like standard. Okay, I figured it out. Standard, it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings movies. It's not that they're bad. It's just a little tedious because been playing against the same cards over and over and over again for a really long time. Could probably tell the whole story in like an hour, like faster rotation. So I think we've come back around to where we started with Universes Beyond. Nice framing of our stream today, but I think that's it. It gets a little bit tedious. Could use some change. Glass caskets in, I guess. Run it like that. What is the best change in Magic? So like the original Legend rule was pretty bad, where once one person got a copy of a Legend, the other person essentially couldn't play one. That led to all kinds of trouble back in like Masks with Lin Civi. So changing of the Legend rule was a good one. Honestly, some of the simplification of the rules over the years I think have been a positive, even though people always get mad about change. But like stuff like damage on the stack or mana burn, like I think the game is better without a lot of those rules in it. So I think that's been a good one. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something major. Only one copy of a Legend in your deck. I wonder, that's something that comes up today still, that people mention, like, having more restrictions on the number of copies of a card that you can play, which is an interesting idea. Yeah, I remember I wasn't playing during the Lin Civi era, but I definitely remember hearing people complain about about how Lin Civi worked and how it was essentially just like, oh, like whoever plays their copy first wins the game because I can't play my copy and it's the most important card in the matchup. Hey, what's up, Jable there? Doing well. How are you? Good to see you. What was the point of mana burn? I mean, it was just another rule of the game essentially. If you read over old cards, you will see cards on occasion where mana burn would matter. Some cards from the old days that don't make a lot of sense when you read them today. I think Mana Short would be one of them, if I'm remembering right. But there's some where you read the text and you're like, why does it say that? But if you look at them through there being a rule where if you have unused mana, you're going to actually take damage for it, then it actually makes a lot more sense. Suchi is another one where Suchi, that's actually a really good one. Yeah, that's actually like a perfect example. Like Suchi, when it was printed, what are we getting here? We'll just take white. When Suchi was printed, 4 mana, 4/4. When it goes to the graveyard, its controller gains 4 colorless mana. This was essentially a drawback. Like, because it would probably die, like, let's say in combat, unless you had an instant you could cast and use that 4 mana, you were going to end up taking mana burn damage for it. This was essentially a 4 mana 4/4 that most of the time was going to deal 4 to you when it died. So that was intended to be a drawback. Now it's just like an upside, essentially. Not often an upside, but there's no downside to it. So I do think that Magic is better off without mana burn being a thing. Like, it's just a little bit unnecessarily complex. There's a balancing act. Like, the game needs to be complex enough that it keeps people's interest. But at the same time, if you if you go too far with complexity, then you're just going to push people away because it's going to be too hard for people to pick up. And I do have like some concern that we'll go. I did have actually some concern that we'd go too far towards simplifying the game, but Wizards has printed some really complex sets recently, so it almost feels like Arena and having digital to take care of the rules has allowed Wizards to be more complex than they would have otherwise. So now I'm not actually as worried about that at all as I was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. What do you think the best rule change was, chat? Or best change? I guess it doesn't even have to be rule change. Also, some of the Mulligan rule changes. Not a big fan of the most recent Mulligan rule change, but there have been very good Mulligan rule changes over the years. Some of the early Mulligan rules were not ideal. Wasn't the original Mulligan rule you could only mulligan if you had 0 lands or all lands? Otherwise, you had to go with it. You had to play it. That's not a great mulligan rule. that is not a great. Like, could you imagine having to keep like 1 land in 6 4-drops or something, and you're just like, yeah, that's the rules. Like, I gotta do what the rules say. I mean, the companion rules change was definitely necessary for sure. So that is a good one. Although, I guess I would also say, like, that one happened so quickly that it feels like it was kind of just a mistake on Wizards' part. Like, they shouldn't have needed to change the companion rule. They should... Really? Every one of them? Every one of those brazen borrowers? They shouldn't have needed to change the companion rule. They should have just tested or something. They should have done something to know that it was the most broken cards they'd ever printed in the history of the game before releasing them. This has been kind of a frustrating match to end the stream on. Eldraine, yeah. Opponent goes attack. Yeah, I mean, even if we get to untap, it's still just over. So, hey, what's awesome? What's up, awesome dude? Good to see you for a minute. Huh. So, what do we learn today? I would say we learned a couple of things. One is, it's still all about Eldraine and Yorion. At least once you get back down to gold because of the reset. Good God. That's all we played. We played a couple of Yorion decks to start, and then it was adventures. So keep that in mind if you're going to play. As far as the deck itself, I think it's the age-old story of Mutate. Mutate can do cool things. Toski is a card I really like. Cub Warden works well with it. But when it comes down to it, as we saw in that last game, the idea of going all in on building this one big Mutate threat, it is just an inherently risky, not super competitive strategy. I don't know if that will ever change, honestly. I think Mutate will always kind of be what it is. It's really fun. The games when you get to stick your stuff are insane and super explosive, but I mean, just mutating together 3 or 4 cards and then having your opponent Elspeth Conqueror's Death or Doomblade or Brazen Borrower is going to mean that you lose a lot of games that most decks that were playing with a more normal play pattern would not lose. McGarry, welcome to the Fishbowl for the 37th month. Oh, I hope you feel better. Good to see you for a minute. I hope you get better soon. But on that note, everyone, I believe that brings us to the end of our stream for tonight. So we will be back on Thursday. Next stream on Thursday. So Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll get some raid action going here momentarily. In the meantime, reminders, replay YouTube, this week find the old streams, normal YouTube. Time Star Remastered spoilers, Sweet Against the Odds, lots of Modern and Pioneer. Keep it out for all that. And one more reminder that our sponsor tonight is Card Kingdom. And maybe need some magical cards. You know where you can get them? Over at cardkingdom.com. Even get a free Scoop Soldier sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes, and they will hook you up. So, on that note, everyone, thank you so much. Seriously, most importantly, thank you to all of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome, and I love each and every one of you. So, I will see y'all on Thursday. Have a great Tuesday evening, a great Wednesday. See you Thursday, and I will talk to you soon.